Give me 5 minutes of your time. That is all I ask on this Friday, the 17th of January, 2025. It is 3:30 in the afternoon. Everyone's got better things to do, with the exception of Scott. Friday, 3:30 in the afternoon. But I had to make this. The power of Trump. How is it that Donald Trump, who's taking credit for the peace deal right before his inauguration, by the way, taking credit for the fucking peace deal, getting Netanyahu to sign on the dotted line to the peace deal, the same peace deal that nobody in the Biden administration could actually get across the finish line. Not that they really tried, but, and we understand that it's going to be fucking violated. In fact, as I pointed out this morning, Donald Trump has already promised Bibi Netanyahu and his far-right fucking psychopathic Jewish supremacist Zionist buddies that even if Israel's the one who violates the fucking peace deal and the ceasefire agreement, the United States will then, Donald Trump will then use the power of the military to punish the fucking children in Gaza for it. So great that the alt-left is getting behind Trumpy Bear. But the question is, how did he get across the finish line himself? Is it the power of Trump? I won't show you how he dances again. It's insulting. However, I don't think so. Remember the story. Here's the story. Out of the blue, Donald Trump sends his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, Jewish New York developer, by the way, over to see Benjamin Netanyahu last week, the Saturday before he agreed to the terms. Why did he have to go see him in person? We were told that the power of Trump and Steve Witkoff, whoever the fuck that guy is, the power was such that Benjamin Netanyahu, on a Saturday, the Sabbath, when he doesn't do business, he doesn't work on the Sabbath, in the afternoon, actually went and met with Steve Witkoff in his fucking office. Not Steve Witkoff's office, Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin came in to work on the Sabbath. For a Jewish person, that's not a good thing. It's not a good look. What's the power of Trump that could actually have him do that? Is it the power of Trumpy Bear? Is it the power of Steve Witkoff? What fucking did that? Why did he have to go in person? That's a good question, Scott. I don't know what the answer is. The power of Trumpy Bear. We talked about It's a Good Life. And this little fucking brat, child, obnoxious, arrogant, controlling all of these adults. Donald Trump is now running around saying, everybody likes me now. Everybody's coming up trying to do business with me and give me money. Why is that, Donald? We talked about that last time. Because Donald now has a certain power. And that power is called totalitarianism and fascism. That's why. But let's be more specific. Why is it that Benjamin Netanyahu met with Steve Witkoff on the Sabbath and then signed something he wasn't going to sign since May of last year? Gee, I wonder how some unknown real estate developer Steve Witkoff convinced savage Zionist for life Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, to give in to Donald Trump's request that he risk it all by accepting the ceasefire deal which he had been refusing to accept since May of 2024. Is it the power of Trump, as so many suddenly sycophantic alt-left influence peddlers would have you believe, or Trump's inauguration is Monday? The whole thing will be a scam. As we know, Bibi and the IDF will violate it, the ceasefire deal, as they need before one single aid truck gets into Gaza. But why do it in the first place? Wait a minute. It's going to start on Monday, you say? Outside of the White House, just days before President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration day, preparations are being underway for a ceremony that will be funded by a record-setting number of corporate donations, including from many first-time donors from the worlds of tech, artificial intelligence, and, yes indeed, boys and girls, crypto bros. The biggest fucking scammers in the goddamn world, crypto bros. The ones who are trying to get you, by the way, ready for central bank digital currencies. Skipping along, Trump's second inauguration fund has so far raised $170 million in the United States, breaking the record he set in 2017 at $107 million, and eclipsing the total donations collected by Biden and Obama's presidential inauguration committees, which are appointed by the incoming administration to organize the Inauguration Day festivities. That's from Canada's CBC. $170 million for a 2-day party? Wait! No! Because that's not right. It's actually $250 million. According to Public Citizen, guy by the name of Craig Holman, Public Citizen's Capitol Hill lobbyist. He's pushing for new legislation to regulate the inauguration ceremony. It's $250 million fucking dollars. $250 million fucking dollars. 200 million from billionaires and corporations. Sorry. I went with the first number that was being reported at $170 million. Okay? So I got it fixed. $250 million for a 2-day party? How does one spend that much money for a party? One doesn't. Even in the world of big business and billionaires, one can't. So what happens to the leftover cash? Well, it just disappears, like it did in 2007 when Trump raised a record $107 million for his gala event. Again, from Public Citizen, the people who know how to track all this. The money coming in. Quote, though Trump and the inaugural committee are not required by law to answer questions about its surplus and expenditures, given the relatively small size of this year's inauguration, this was 2017, it is reasonable to estimate that at least half or more of the funds raised by the committee could remain left over as a surplus, at least if it was spent in line with previous inaugurations. End quote. They're not required to tell anybody anything about where that money goes. Where what money goes? $250 million. Let's continue. That's right, boys and girls. There is no law saying they have to account publicly for any of the money they spend on their inauguration party. Not one. It's a slush fund. It's a perk for winning the big chair. And who exactly is in charge of that particular slush fund this year? Stephen Witkoff. Stephen Witkoff, the guy who went down to Israel last week and suddenly, somehow had the power to get Bibi to do a 180-degree turn and sign on to the ceasefire deal in spite of how much it pissed off the far-right members of his cabinet and all his Zionist buddies. He had the power to convince him to do that. And Netanyahu is known for his corruption. Indeed, he is. In fact, he's going to be charged and prosecuted for it as soon as he's out of office. Quote, Donald Trump announced on Saturday that his inaugural committee will be chaired by Florida real estate investor Stephen Witkoff and former Senator Kelly Loeffler. who he called longtime friends and supporters. This will be the kickoff to my administration, which will deliver on bold promises to make America great again, Trump said in a news release. Witkoff is the president-elect's golf partner who was with Trump when the former president was the target of a second attempted assassination at his golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida, in September. The fake, non-existent, never happened assassination attempt. Trump's first inauguration was scrutinized for its lavish spending. The inaugural committee chair back then, California billionaire Tom Barrack, drew attention by raising $107 million for the event. That's from November of this year, 2024. Steve Witkoff has been his inauguration chair to spend the $250 million in crypto money and other billionaire investors since November. Yep. I would bet Steve Witkoff bought off Bibi Netanyahu with some of that leftover cash from Trump's inauguration slush fund as a kind of party favor for Trump's inauguration. That would be my guess. That's why he had to go there in person. That's why Bibi met with him last Saturday on the Sabbath. To get paid. To get paid in fucking cash. That's why he had to go there in person. But folks on the alt-right, folks on the alt-left, even the mainstream media is now talking about the power of Trump. He took fucking swamp money, gave it over to fucking his bag man. I'm making an assumption. Steve Witkoff he's a public figure. I can make assumptions about this. I can draw my own conclusion. I'm a journalist. That's what I do. Why would he do that? And why wouldn't he have a Zoom call with Netanyahu? Why would he have to go there in person? Why would Netanyahu break his tradition and violate one of his religious rules to do business during the Sabbath in his office? Because Trump? No. Because he was meeting with him with a bag in his hand that he gave to him. That's why. In my opinion, that's what he did. People give Trump all the credit for this thing. Trump's people did nothing in terms of negotiating this. They were politely kept in the loop after November when the election was won, as they should have been, with one member of the transition team being kept in the loop. They were never there negotiating. Stephen Witkoff certainly did nothing except be a close enough ally and friend to Donald Trump to fly down there with something to give to fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. Untraceable cash that nobody in any fucking administration or any government agency is ever going to be able to fucking track down. With the possible exception of those individuals in Israel who are looking into Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption. Wouldn't that be a thing for the Israelis to find out Benjamin Netanyahu sold his signing on the peace deal, on the ceasefire deal, to Donald Trump? Holy shit. Have a great Friday.